y'all. Today's like a half good, half bad lash day, man. Half of my lashes are like really good, and then the other half are really bad, especially the inner corner. That's the hardest for me. We are gonna get diving into today's video. I'm gonna show you guys exactly everything you need to know on how I apply my Bareminerals Powder Foundation. I got a lot of requests from you guys to do this video. I mentioned to you guys that I was testing it out, trying to reuse it and see how it worked on my skin, and I think I figured it out, so I'm gonna share everything I know about this powder foundation and how you can apply it at home if you've had issues with it. Before we get diving into this video, if you guys are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Steph. So make sure to hit that subscribe button before you guys head out. And if you guys are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for tuning back in. We are going to get diving into this. So let's do this. Before we get diving into this video, I do want to disclose that this is not sponsored at all. This is something that I truly wanted to try out on my own. I mentioned to you guys a while ago that I was in the talks of trying to get this powder foundation to work because I was kind of interested in it. So one of my lovely subscribers actually mentioned that they had it and they'd never used it, so they asked if they could send it to me. So thank you so much for sending it over. Oh my gosh, this lash. First steps first to this powder foundation that I have found is it will cling to any sort of dry patches you have. The first thing I'm going to do is go in with a hydrating primer. So I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Primer. So I just want to make sure that especially in the areas maybe that you guys have acne scarring or you guys have any sort of dry patches, even if you are dry skin, you don't even have to have acne like I do, but if you are dry skin and you know there's certain spots that always tend to get drier than other areas, make sure that you guys really hydrate that area. Ugh, please don't ruin my brows. Okay, so the next step that we have to do is we have to conceal. I'm going to conceal underneath my eyes because I want to make sure that that is all concealed and set. Then I'm going to also conceal a couple of areas where I find that the foundation really doesn't ever cover. Like I can put as much powder foundation on it, but it just doesn't really give it the extra coverage that it needs. I personally have used the Bareminerals powder concealer before. I don't really care for it, so I like to conceal with a liquid concealer. I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. The other thing with picking a concealer is I'm going to use the same concealer that I use underneath my eyes to kind of spot conceal. Yes, this is really light right now for my skin. The reason for that is because I want to make sure that once I get done using that concealer and setting it, that it's not going to oxidize. I have this little spot right here that I want to conceal. And right here, and right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and blend it out. I'm just going to be using this Real Techniques. This is a highlighting brush, but I like it to blend out. We're going to set it with a translucent powder. You want to take something that's not going to be super heavy and it's really lightweight. I'm going to go in with the ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder. Number one, the reason why I want to do this is because I want to set underneath my eyes, but then I also want to make sure that anything I have used concealer on does not take on that Bareminerals powder and take on a different color. The biggest thing I found when I used to put on the Bareminerals powder foundation was that I would go in and I would conceal, but then I would just go in straight in with my original powder, and what I found then was that it would like grab onto those concealer parts and then it would be splotchy because of it. What I do is I just take a really light dusting. You don't want to take a whole lot, and you just want to make sure that if you gently touch your skin, you're not going to feel any stickiness. So I have tried a few different brushes to apply this powder foundation. The very first one we have is the IT Cosmetics. This is a dual-ended brush. It's got the big fat part on one side and then the smaller concealer part on the bottom. This one here is the Morphe Y7. This is what I normally use to apply my liquid foundation with. And then this is one that I had found at Ross, and this is the Bareminerals Kabuki brush. I believe it's like their handy Kabuki brush. I find this to be amazing to buff out my skin and really get that even flawless finish. This one here I actually started using when I needed a little bit more coverage in certain spots. This is more compact and more dense, as you guys can see, but this is really great for packing on that powder onto certain spots. This personally I'm not the biggest fan of. I find it to be very itchy and it really scratches at my skin. So I'm going to start off with the IT Cosmetics first. now we're going to go in with the powder foundation. The two that I have is the Bareminerals Original Formula. I have Fairly Medium 05 and Light Beige 09. I've actually used both. Right now, I think I'm using the Fairly Medium. I actually like the way it looks a little bit better on my skin. It's more neutral tone. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your container. So here's what it looks like. I'm sure you guys have seen it. They haven't really changed the packaging at all. What you want to do is you want to pour a little bit into this little lid. Here is how much I have in my cap. You guys can see there's really not a whole lot in there, and that's okay. So what you want to do is you want to take it like this, and you want to start like pushing it down and twirling it. Once you get most of that product picked up, then what you want to do is you want to tap any excess off. So I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to start buffing. Now just remember, the very first time we do this, you're not going to see a whole lot of a difference. But I want to show you guys the difference between one side and the other. So there is one layer. You guys can definitely see there still is some texture around on my skin, but I feel like a majority of it is more so even than anything. So there's that, and there's that. And now I'm going to go in with the other side. So now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go in with the Morphe E7, and I'm going to do the same thing. But this time I'm going to start to lightly kind of just pack it on like this. So I'm just going to pack it like that, just around the areas that I really want a little bit more coverage. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly, very, very lightly, blend out the edges. And you might not even need to blend out the edges, but I feel like if you do this step first, where if you have a brush and you need to pack it on, if you do this step first, you're going to get, again, splotchiness. So it's always best to start off with the first layer, kind of do the entire face, and then you can work in the areas that you need a little bit more coverage. So here is what it looks like now that I have everything done. I have one full layer where I buffed it all into my skin just so that I could even out my skin tone. And then I went in with a brush that was going to pack on the powder a little bit more densely. It really just gave a nice overall finish. I truly really like this powder. I also like that if you have fine lines, I feel like it doesn't accentuate your fine lines. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup. I'm going to finish up putting on some powder, and then I will come back and show you guys the finished result. So here's everything with all of my makeup on. I have my bronzer, my highlighter, my blush. I set everything, and my liquid lipstick, and I hope you guys like the way it looks. It may seem like it takes a really long time just because I showed you step by step, but once you get it down, it actually really works very well and it goes really quickly. So I hope that if you guys have this powder foundation at home and you guys are wanting to figure out how to use it, or maybe it's a pain in the butt to work with, that everything I showed you guys in the video really helps you guys and maybe gives you some tips and tricks on how to make it work for you guys. If you guys are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe before you guys head out. And if you guys are already subscribed, I love you guys and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys give it a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. I do upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays around 6 p.m. So you guys will catch me in the next video then. And I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.